there's so many people right now waiting that want to buy a house, whether it's for an investment or it's for a primary residence, but they're waiting for the perfect time. They're waiting for prices to come down,
rates to come down.
rates to come down. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is everybody's waiting for the perfect time. So if you wait with everybody else for the perfect time, what may seem like the perfect time or whenever that comes around, everybody's going to start buying, and it's not going to be a perfect time anymore because then prices are going to shoot back up.
Welcome back to The Broke Billionaires, where we document our daily struggles in building wealth while raising a young family. Join us as we talk creative wealth building for everyday people and couples that are struggling in a down economy. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Joshua Masari, and we'll be your hosts.
Welcome back to another episode of The Broke Millionaires.
Very broke.
I was going to say, we're still broke.
Broker than
in case you were
we were last time.
Last week.
Yes. But we said it was going to get worse before it got better, so we're just playing that out.
You know, we also said that, what month was this now? April, I think, was going to be a make it or break it month. And hey, we're in mid-June now. We're still here. We're still there
was some things in April that were kind of a turning point.
Yeah.
For us, I think, with the project we're finishing up, we had to figure out what we were doing with that and when it was going to get rented. And
yeah, I hadn't thought about that till just now. That was our. Yeah, we made it. We made it.
We made it. Well, we're still here.
I wouldn't say we made it, but we're still trucking along.
Yeah.
Let's see. We are coming off Father's Day weekend. Happy Father's Day again to you.
Yes, it was nice.
And to all the fathers out there. I'm so tired. I don't even know what I was going to say right now. Also, the adrenaline has definitely worn off from the newborn. Our baby is now a month old. And if you have kids, you know that there's this period when they're born that you're kind of just running on the adrenaline. And I don't know about for you, but for me, the adrenaline is definitely worn off and reality is hitting and the lack of sleep is all compiling. And I mean, you thrive a little bit better with lack of sleep than I do, but I'm really struggling now.
It's getting harder the older I get. And I don't think I've had any adrenaline this time around. It's just wall after wall after wall every time a kid wakes up.
At least you stay awake to record these because I definitely fall asleep over here. You're better than I am for sure. Let's see. We are so close to finishing the very last big project on our last project on the house, the outdoor kitchen. They came today. They were measuring for the countertops and so close.
Yeah, so we closed a loan. I think it was late end of last week. Actually, not even that long ago, 4 or 5 days ago, when we closed a loan, construction loan to help finish up this project and get it furnished and get it ready to go we do have it rented. So we had to get it ready to rent for the first guest coming in. And once that money funded, it was kind of like go, 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 go. And on top of that, I've been doing the outdoor kitchen, doing a lot of that labor, getting that all finished up. And we're definitely down to the wire. We still have 2 inspections that need to get signed off. The house is signed off and done, but the outdoor kitchen was a separate permit that needs to get signed off. So hopefully middle of next week, that'll get signed off and done. And then we also have a water meter upgrade that the water district was requiring us to do, and we had to get permits on that. That was probably the hardest permit to get out of all of them. It's not a big deal. They're not even coming into the property. They're just out on the street, but they do have to shut the water off for I don't know how long, but definitely want to get that handled before the guest
I
check
kind
in.
of forgot about that one.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get that squared away.
And then
Real
the
soon.
very, very last thing is we have to tile the front entry of the house. Why is tile so expensive?
Well,
I mean,
I wouldn't say tile's expensive, but the tile that you want is always expensive.
well,
And then usually we're pretty good at finding a look-alike or something that
it's not like I'm
works.
asking for something that's crazy. It's a very normal, neutral tile. Like, I don't understand why this is
It's a
so.
little specific.
Is it? Not. I mean, I don't think so. It's
Well, you're having a hard
not
time
like a
finding it.
design or anything that I'm looking for. I'm just looking for two
You're looking for the
similar
look.
colored tiles to alternate a pattern, but it's proving to be very expensive. So we're trying to think of alternatives for our entryway because that does have to get done also.
Part of it is it's an outdoor situation, so the outdoor viable tiles are a little less available.
Yes, not as many options.
I still think we should try the tile that was on clearance because
I'll let you call them and ask them.
I don't think we should talk to them because they're going to want to sell us the more expensive stuff, but they're saying it's not anti-slip, but it's a pretty rough texture. It's a pretty like 3D texture. I think we just need to test it out. Get a piece, get it wet, see if we slip.
You can test that on.
You just put water and run a shoe over it. Like, I think they're overselling the outdoor tile.
Let me just tell you too, I went into the tile store today with two of the kids and they just took me straight back to the most expensive stuff.
They saw you coming from a mile away. They're like, this girl, we're going to give her the $15 a square foot stuff.
And then he gave me a deal. And so I called him all excited. I was like, oh, this is a great deal. Because he gave it to me it was like, I don't know, way less than half of what it was listed at. So I was like, oh, this is great. No, definitely not a good deal. This is why shopping for house stuff, I usually go with you because I don't know yet what is a good deal on some things.
Not that.
That was, and I said, I'm going to need you to show me the clearance section only. And they had no options.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I think we'll find something.
We always do. We make it work for sure. What else? Any other updates?
So with this project we're finishing up, we're instead of just buying whatever it needs and paying whatever we should pay, we're kind of finding creative ways, as we always do, to finish the construction and furnish it. So just finding budget ways to get the look and add the value without paying the normal retail or contractor rate or whatever that may be. I think we typically do a pretty good job at this, but we've been doing a lot of it on this final push. For example,
I was going to say, like the table you sourced.
Yeah. So this is actually, we have this amazing outdoor space, and we needed to get a dining set out there because I can't
a large dining set.
Yeah. We wanted this big farm table. I had this vision of this big farm table, and the outdoor farm tables are just really expensive. There's this Restoration Hardware one that I was trying to find on Marketplace, see if we could find something that was lightly used and not having a lot of luck, at least not in the price range that I was wanting to pay. So we were just going to get like a basic, like a teak looking set with like 6 chairs and a table. And it was decent looking, but nothing special. Probably would have lasted a couple of years and been trash after that. It was a Wayfair purchase. And so we were going to get that. And then I stopped in at Restoration Hardware. I don't even know why. Oh, I was getting my hair cut.
The outlet.
So I stopped at the outlet on my way back up, and they had this really big, massive farm table, but it wasn't outdoor. And it was like 90% off. It was a $7,000 table for under $700. So
he just sees 90% off and gets so excited.
I do. So we decided, let's just get this and put it outside because it's not going to be, it's covered. It's a covered patio. It's not going to be getting wet. It's not going to be in the sun. Yeah, there's still moisture out there, but it's real solid wood. And I think it'll probably last longer than the other actual outdoor
sets that were more expensive.
Well, the cheaper outdoor, no, it'll last longer than the cheaper outdoor set we were going to buy.
Yeah.
So it'll probably actually hold up better. And the thing is solid. And it's like 12 feet long. You can fit like 18 people around it. We got two we got four like farm style benches to go around it. So I think it's going to look really cool. And it's this really nice restoration. I mean, we should be putting it inside the house, but it's so massive.
It's too big.
There's no room to put it in the house. It's just way too big. But it's this big, beautiful farm table. And so I think it's really going to it's kind of a statement piece in the central focal point of that outdoor space. So
yeah.
we got this big farm table in the middle. It's about an 800 square foot covered patio. So it's large. We got this big giant farm table with a big 80-inch TV hanging out there. And then we've got the champagne island. So we have this it's really just a sitting island. And it's going to have benches all the way around it. And then right in the middle of the countertop is going to be like a trough ice chest
Got
sink.
this idea from Heather Dubrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's like this skinny, like 6-inch wide by like 3 feet sink that we're undermounting underneath the countertop, and it drains into the drain so that has ice in it. You just pull the plug at the end and it all drains out. But it'll be for champagne, and hopefully we'll get to actually host some parties like when this house is vacant, like do some events or something so we can actually use this stuff. And then we got like a barbecue and like this big giant range hood over the barbecue. So that passes code. And then we've got another ice chest in that, and, mini fridge and all the things. And then just outside of the covered portion, we have like a really nice fire bowl, like kind of like a s'more. We're gonna make a little s'more station. So we got these cool modern Adirondack chairs that we sourced from Marketplace. Got those like about a third of what they retail for, so that was a pretty good deal on those. We'll have this little s'more section for families to be able to roast s'mores in the backyard, so that'll be cool.
I'm so excited to see the champagne trough done. Yeah. When I first saw that, not at her house, on Real Housewives. Yeah. I'm not going to Heather Dubrow's house, I wish. I thought it was the coolest thing. And I didn't ever want to do it inside. So it worked out perfectly for this house, the way we were kind of setting up this outdoor kitchen area. But I think it's going to look really good. I'm so excited.
It's literally the countertops are getting installed the day before we get it pictured. So hopefully, the day before it gets cleaned. So we got to like schedule pictures that morning, or maybe right after it gets cleaned. And then the people move in the next day. So
always down to the wire.
Always down to the wire. So, yeah. And the islands, so there's two islands, big, the barbecue island's 12 feet long, so it's super big. And then the other one's like a 4 foot by 8 foot. We were originally going to do these and have them smooth stucco to kind of match some of the other stucco that we did in the back portion of that house and the block wall. So it would kind of like tie everything in. And the stucco, the cool on the stucco came in, it was like $6,000 or $7,000 just to stucco, like on top of what we'd already paid to have.
I was going to say, wasn't that close to like what we paid for to have the whole house done?
Yeah, I didn't understand it. I think it was actually more. I was like, whoa, either prices went up or this is just way.
No, it wasn't that long ago we did that.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. So anyway, I got a creative, and there's this new product that we've done a lot of the wood slats, like the acoustic slatted walls in this property. There's this new stuff called WPC or something like that. I don't know. It's wood composite. So wood PVC composite or something. So it's basically made out of plastic. And it looks like wood. And they didn't have the wood killers. We tried a couple samples, and there was like an oak, and there was another one, and they just, one of them didn't look realistic and just looked really cheesy. The other one was too dark and didn't match anything that we had wood features. So we've got a lot of wood features to tie into, but it was just a completely different color. So we ended up just going with the black, and it was just black on black, and still has like the wood grain, but it goes, wraps all the way around these islands. And then we found from our supplier for countertops, we just wanted something inexpensive. We're going with porcelain because that's the better option to do with outdoor, so you have less problems. We just wanted something, and we wanted to look nice, but we didn't want to spend too much because it's outdoor. And we ended up finding this porcelain countertop that happened to be on clearance at $4.99 a slab, and they just happened to have 3 left, which is what we needed for this project.
Yeah, it was perfect.
And it looks like a concrete. It's kind of like a concrete color.
It does, yeah. It looks.
So
I think it's going to be very similar to the original.
Yeah, because we have another property that we did where it was smooth stuck on the outside and an actual concrete countertop, and it looks cool and it's solid and it serves a purpose. But I didn't like the concrete's porous and it stains too easily.
Yeah, the wicker on it is not great.
Yeah, so yeah, it like holds up and it's solid, but you wouldn't want any food to touch it or anything because it just stains so easy. So I really wanted to do an actual countertop that you could easily wipe off and clean.
Yeah.
So this looks like the concrete, but it's easier to clean, and we'll just maintain that newer look for longer. And this color with this black cladding of this wood panels we put on the side, it looks really cool.
I think it's still really good.
I'm really excited to see how this comes out.
I am too. And this like slatted wood has kind of become unintentionally kind of like a signature thing we've been doing.
Yeah.
In the last few houses.
As we've got it right behind. This is like leftover
Yeah.
leftover material right behind us that we had. So we just kind of threw it up on this wall, and yeah.
Yeah, I really have been liking it.
So anyway, we're very close to getting that finished. So we're super stoked on that. And, again, just finding all these like creative ways. Oh, so like we have we got to get this big U-shaped sectional to put in the living room. And the last property we did this with, we got one from Jerome. So we wanted to make it look and feel like the cloud, the Restoration Hardware Cloud, but we didn't want to spend $15,000 on a Restoration Hardware Cloud. We didn't even want to do what we did and go to the outlet and spend $8,000 on the same thing.
We didn't have the time to source that again either.
No, the time or the money, it just doesn't make sense. But so Jerome's has this like, I call it a fake cloud, but it's basically like looks the same and doesn't feel the same. It does not feel the same. But it's the same like type thing. It's it's got the down pillow tops and it's super loungy and it serves its purpose. But
it does hold its shape better, which is my one complaint about the cloud. That is a sloppy couch.
I don't think the Jerome's one holds it any better.
I think it's a little better.
Maybe.
I have to redo that couch, the pillows on it so many times a day, and it does drive me insane. But
so comfortable.
I know. The comfort is next level.
So I called them to see if we could get another one of these and find out what the price was, and they discontinued it. And they've got a new one coming out that's like a lighter gray, which is great. It probably even looks better, but it doesn't come out for another month or so. So we wouldn't be able to get one in time. But it turns out that they still have their floor models and they're selling them. And the store I called, they're like, oh yeah, we just sold ours for $800 last week. I was like, oh shoot. And I think we paid like $2,500 or maybe it was a little more, closer to $3,000 on the other one. And so I started calling around and ended up finding a store that was able to contact another store that did have one. It wasn't exactly the configuration that we needed, but they happened to have an extra ottoman in stock still that was brand new. So we had to buy that. So we ended up buying 7 pieces, even though we only need 6, but we're able to get the full U-shaped sectional. And I think we got it for just under $2,000 for this, which is a great deal on, for what we need. So that was another creative find that saves some money on the actual furnishings.
Absolutely.
I'm excited about that.
I'm excited to see how it's all going to come together in the final moments.
Yeah, so
we know it's going to be the final moment.
We need to schedule the photographer so we can get them that last. I mean, it's going to have to be the last day before these people check in, but definitely want to get pictures of everything when it's all finished up and furnished. So that'll be nice.
Absolutely.
Just a quick disclaimer. The information shared on this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as financial, tax, or legal advice. Always consult with a qualified professional before making any financial decisions. Your individual circumstances may differ and require specific strategies not discussed here. Now, let's get back to the show.
All right. What are we talking about tonight?
Well, we are going to talk about getting an asset and just making it happen. Really, like a lot of times when we acquire another asset, it's a stretch. And we're like, is this a good idea? Is this not a good
lot of
idea?
times?
Every time. And it's a lot of work. And it's just like, it sometimes seems like we're going backwards. But once we have something, like we buy houses, that's kind of what we do. So once we have a property and finish it, renovate it and get it rented, it's like, it's a feeling of accomplishment. But we've always done really well when we start renting these properties and they start cash flowing. It's hard to buy rental properties at cash flow in today's market.
Absolutely.
Especially in California, especially with rates right now. It's very difficult. And we have been able to do very well at that by getting creative. And, I don't think we have any purchases that we regret, maybe in the moment, but once it's stabilized and up and running.
I think this current project I probably question more than anything.
Yeah, but I feel like
this one was a little bit.
I feel like the last one was the same way.
Yeah, that's true.
That's just kind of how it goes.
I do feel like there's a theme here where he comes to me with an idea, I immediately say no, and then it ends up happening. So.
And then it usually works out, but.
And then you're usually right.
Yeah. So, whether you're looking to acquire your first asset, whether it's a rental property, some sort of investment, starting a business, sometimes you just have to have faith that it's going to work out and just go for it. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But if you don't actually take that step of faith and take action and do it, you're never going to know. You're never going to get there. And you're never, ever actually going to be successful in building wealth and investing if you don't actually try.
Yeah. And I think too, this is where you and I are very different. And this is something you're really good at, is when you think of something, you have an idea, you do it like almost immediately. I mean, you don't sit there and think about it for too long or plan it out. It's like if you have a new business idea, you start immediately with it. That's where I want to like see it all on paper. I want to see the pros and cons. I want to like have a plan. And to that point, I've never launched a business personally, but you have done it multiple times. And I think that that's another part of it too, is just having the faith and knowing and just kind of, taking it one step at a time, but not having to have the whole plan and know what it's going to look like.
Yeah. And it can be scary. I feel like every time we purchase something, it's scary. Like, are we doing the right thing? Is this going to make sense? And even going through the project, it's like, what are we doing? But then once it starts operating, then things get better. And it's like, okay, this makes sense. And then we're able to leverage that asset to the next one. And so it always works out. I shouldn't say it always works out, because there's investments that don't work out. Like, they haven't always been great. They don't. It's not. And just getting to that point, sometimes we're losing our tail on right now.
Sometimes you're going backwards before you're going forward.
Yeah. So it's not an easy path. I'll put it that way. It's definitely not like, oh, you buy an asset and things are all going to be great tomorrow. Like, it doesn't work that way. Yeah. But if you can get through it and push through, in the long run, it's going to pay off.
Yeah, I agree. I think too, it's a lot of it's about timing, and that there is never a perfect time, right? Yeah. Like if we think about all of our projects, they've never been at ideal times.
Yeah.
Ever.
That's true.
Usually like the worst time actually is when
they seem
to come about. But that's where, like you said, just having faith and Yeah, so there never really is a good or perfect time. And sometimes, that opportunity can pass you quickly, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things where if there is an opportunity, especially with houses, I feel like they're so hard to find anyways that if those come about, if you spend too much time thinking about it or wondering, then
Yeah. Well, you think like there's so many people right now waiting that want to buy a house, whether it's for an investment or it's for a primary residence. Um, but they're waiting for the perfect time. They're waiting for prices to come down
rates to come
or
down.
rates to come
Yeah.
down. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is everybody's waiting for the perfect time. So if you wait with everybody else for the perfect time, what may seem like the perfect time or whenever that comes around, everybody's going to start buying and it's not going to be a perfect time anymore because then prices are going to shoot back up.
Right.
So it's like you just shot yourself in the foot by waiting for what you thought was the perfect time because you're not thinking the big picture. Why are people waiting? What makes it the perfect time to buy? Right now people are thinking interest rates. My payment's going to be higher if I buy it now. But
Which, yes.
yes, that's true.
Yeah.
But if you do that, you can get a better deal right now. And then you can, when rates come down, you can refinance. And yeah, you're going to have more carrying costs in the meantime. But if you can hold on, you can do that for the next year or two and then refinance, then that asset's going to be an easier, lower carrying cost. And if it's a rental property, you'll actually end up making more money because when you refinance, now your carrying costs just got lower and your rent's going to be going up.
Mm-hmm.
And so your spread it becomes bigger. If you wait, prices are going to go up. So yeah, you might get a lower interest rate, but you're going to be paying more on the asset itself. And, it's kind of almost a wash at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can get it now, secure that asset now, refinance, you kind of get the best of both worlds. Again, yeah, you got to have a higher carrying cost for the next year or so until you refinance, assuming that that's, when rates come down. We don't have a crystal ball and don't know for sure when that's going to happen. But
Yeah.
if that's what you think and that's what you're waiting for and you're confident that's going to happen, why not get the asset now at the better price and then refinance and lock that lower rate in for the long term? Because you're going to be paying this for 30 years. The first 2 years, it's only 2 years. I'll bet you the additional payment that you make for the higher, the extra 1 and 2% higher interest over the next year or two before you refinance is going to be way less than what you'll pay.
Once
Yeah. Once
the
the price goes up, you'll end up paying way more for that price of that
yeah,
asset.
that's very true.
Now, this is going to be based on where you're at. So,
Market specific.
market specific. There may be places in the Midwest or wherever you may be that aren't going to inflate overnight as quickly. But I think on a percentage wise, you're still going to see that. But we're in California and there's just no inventory ever.
Mhm.
There's probably more inventory now than there's ever been or in a long time, but there's still not a lot. Prices are still getting bid up. They're not going for 250,000
Prices are
over.
not coming down.
Yeah, they're not going for $250,000 over like they were a few years ago, but they're still going for, a lot of them are going for, 50,000 over. So they're still over asking.
Yeah.
And when everybody jumps back in, it's going to jump right back up again.
Right.
So, you really got to look at the big picture and see what really makes sense. Because if you wait for that perfect time before you know it, like, oh, perfect time, interest rates are low. Well, now everybody's making offers and you're
Right.
competing.
Everyone else knows that it's a perfect time
and
too.
that perfect time is no longer the perfect time because now you're overpaying.
Yeah. Which leads me to my next point is starting this as young as possible. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think in anything wealth building, just the compounding interest and everything, you want to start as young as you can because the longer you hold an asset for, the longer it's going to appreciate and give you a return. And just over time, it's just going to compound and keep snowballing. And, when you have an asset, you can leverage that asset into the next one and into the next and into the next. And the longer you have to do that, the bigger nest egg you're going to be able to build.
Do you think like if someone was to ask you, is it too late to get started? Like, is there at any point that you would say like, it's not worth it, or what you'd have to do, like at what age?
Like you missed the boat.
Yeah, yeah, you missed the boat. Like you really should have done this, so much longer ago. Like,
No, I don't think so. I mean, obviously you want to start as young as possible because you're going to be better off, but starting late is better than not starting at all.
yeah,
Like just say, throwing the towel and be like, oh, I should have started when I was younger. I didn't.
yeah.
Oh, well, like,
I feel like a lot of people have that mentality though. Like they think that they've missed the boat on it.
well, maybe they have. I don't know. It depends on the situation, right? But, I mean, if you think about somebody that's 90 years old,
Yeah.
they probably missed the boat if you're trying to buy property and hold it for the long term. So,
Okay.
so I guess there is some validity to that.
Yeah.
But, if somebody's in their 50s or 60s, nearing retirement, and you still got a lot of life yet, you've got a lot of runway to still be able to build. And even though that may be your retirement years and when you should be enjoying your retirement, if you haven't built up a retirement, you got to start. You got to start somewhere. You may be a little later in life when you're able to enjoy that, but you also got to think like, do you want to pass something on to your heirs? That's something that's important to you. Like, that's something to think about as well.
It's going to be a sacrifice no matter what when you get started. I mean,
Yeah.
we're years into this and there's still so many sacrifices we're making
Yeah.
on a.
But I mean, building financial freedom, there's never, I don't think it's ever too late to strive for that, try to build that. Because if somebody hasn't built up a nest egg, doesn't have retirement, and you get to that age, you're not going to be able to live off of Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have, if you don't have a 401k you've built up, you don't have investments that you've built up, like you're going to have a hard time because Social Security is not going to be around forever, or it's just going to be so minuscule, it's not going to actually do much.
Yeah.
It doesn't do much now. And with inflation, it's not going to keep up with inflation. It's going to get deflated even more and more over time and just not be able to do anything for anybody.
Yeah.
Social Security was never meant to be someone's income to start with.
That's right.
It was supposed to be a supplement to people whose pension plans ran out or their retirement or whatever didn't cover, like they weren't able to live out their life. It was supposed to be a supplement to that. And then
around like World War II, right? When was
it started, I don't remember when it started.
First World War?
Yeah, it was, we talked about one of the earlier episodes, but it was supposed to be a supplement.
Yeah.
And, the way it's been managed, and people started living longer and people started relying on it more than they should have. And it's just not able to support that. So you really do have to take it into your own hands and make sure you've got something built up. So, definitely get started. Getting started later is better than not getting started at all.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to have a different perspective on it. And, you need to figure out. So our love, our investing is more equity based. Yeah, we figure out ways to cash flow properties in very creative ways. And that's great, but I don't think that's our main focus right now. Our main focus is building equity and just building that nest egg up and snowballing that. And the cash flow that we're generating from these properties is just paying for more assets and just paying to continue to grow the portfolio. But I think it's somebody later in life, they're probably thinking, I need cash flow now because I'm not going to keep working. I need to create that financial freedom for myself now. So they're going to have a different way they look at investments and different type of investments. But I don't think it's ever going to be too late to start unless you're 90 and kind of, although they say in the next few years, we may end up be able to start living to 150. So 90.
I was gonna say
90.
Yaya's still kicking it at 95. So
90 might be the new 45 in the next, with the way AI is like advancing medicine and everything, like 90 could be the new 45. And you might feel 45. You might be able to feel 45 and not feel 90. And you're just getting going. So I guess I take that back. I mean, that could be an irrelevant statement pretty soon.
You look back to like biblical times and they were living a long time.
900 years. I don't think we'll see that anymore.
Having babies in their hundreds.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? No, that sounds awful.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess with life expectancy, that could change. So if you are 90 now, maybe you should start because, hey, things could change and you could live another 60 years if medicine advances rapidly with all this AI advancements.
That's very true. Hey guys, if you're finding value or just want to follow along on our journey, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. That would help us tremendously. You can also follow us on Instagram at The Broke Millionaires and be sure to share with your friends. Now let's get back to the show. What I would say when we're looking at houses, you're really good at looking outside the box of the property and trying to find creative ways to generate additional income with each property that we look at. And I think we probably talked about that in one of our earlier episodes. Maybe we didn't go into it about like how we analyze if a property is going to be a good investment for us or not when we're initially looking at it. But what are some of the things you look for?
Yeah, so we start by looking at a long-term rent. Like, what is the property going to rent for long-term? And we always want to try to cover the carrying costs. So whatever the mortgage and taxes, insurance, everything, you want to at least be able to cover that with a long-term rent because you know that strategy is never going away.
Right.
People are always going to have to rent. So that's kind of our baseline. And it's like, okay, if it's too negative, if it's negative or doesn't make sense, then maybe it's not a good situation. So we also look at, okay, buying it, acquiring it may have more expenses up front, especially when you got hard money loans and you're doing construction, things like that. But you look at, okay, once it's stabilized, once you refinance it into a more reasonable rate, at that point with that carrying cost, would we be able to cover it with long-term rent? So that's kind of our fallback. If all else fails, at least we know the asset will pay for itself.
Right.
But really, we want to try to maximize the returns on the asset itself. So we look, how do we do that? How do we increase the equity? So we do equity plays, and then we also try to look at cash flow. We try to do a good combination of both. So we're always looking at things. How do we, we do pretty extensive renovations, so we know, okay, and we're pretty good at comping out our properties. Okay, we're buying it at this. We're going to put this much into it. Here's the budget. This is what we're going to do. And it should be worth this when we're done. So we can kind of work backwards and look at this will be our end game, our end point will be to refi and pull this much money out to pay back the construction and the first loan. And so we kind of work backwards on our budgets like that. And that's the equity portion. And if there's appreciation, that's forced appreciation. So when you're renovating something, you're forcing appreciation by taking something old, making it new, and it's now worth more. We also get appreciation just on the time value, the time. So that's kind of a bonus. We don't bank on that. I think that's dangerous to bank on appreciation. Mm-hmm. That's not forced, and it's just looking at your time because you don't know what that's going to look like. It could go backwards. It's not really 100% reliable. So that's all kind of like bonus appreciation for us. It's like just cherry on top. And we've done really well with it. And when there's those big appreciation booms, we take advantage of those because, we've got these properties, and especially the more properties you have, when you do have that big appreciation, big appreciating market, you get a lot of upswing. So we do get that nice little bonus, but that's not something that we ever bank on when we're evaluating properties.
Yeah.
And we look at things like, if we redevelop a property, can we add square footage? ADUs are real big. So we look for, abilities to be able to add ADUs. We also look at if a property has an ADU on it, if it's maybe not permitted, we look at ways to be able to get that permitted, like with new laws that have come about. Can we get that permitted? For example, California just this year passed a new assembly bill. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. It's like Assembly It's like AB 2558 or something.
How on earth do you remember this?
I don't know. I'm pretty tired, so I'm probably way off, but it's something like that. But it's basically because of the housing shortage, they're trying to encourage housing, and they want to make sure it's safe housing. California has a lot of ADUs because properties are so expensive here. Over the years, people have built a lot of ADUs, and they're non-conforming, meaning they're not permitted because of the previous permitting like laws, building laws. You couldn't get ADUs, like the setbacks. You had to be like 10 feet off the back property line. Well, if you come 10 feet off the back property line, you come into the house and there's just not room for it. So it was really hard to be able to get these done in the past. Now they've relaxed that because of the problem, the housing shortage, of trying to encourage ADUs now. So now that the property lines a lot of times are like 4 feet. And so it's a lot, you can get a lot closer to the back property line. They've relaxed a lot of those guidelines. And this new bill that passed, it allows all the, because there's thousands and thousands of illegal ADUs that have been built over the years. But basically, if you have an ADU that was built before 2020, you can use this bill to get it permitted without having to go through all the building code that you would normally have to go through. So you're able to kind of fast track it and bypass all that, because traditionally you would have to maybe open walls and get all the inspections done and have to like change things and move things around. So now they're just cutting all that out and they're like, we need housing. You already have it. You're already renting it, or you already have family members in it or whatever. We're going to help like make sure, but we want to make sure it's safe. We want to make sure we're not all these slumlords just throwing up these shacks in the back of their yard and it's just unsafe and there's mold growing and, no heat and all this stuff. So all you have to do is you have to pass health and safety. So it's got to have heat. It's got to have, fire safety codes has to be met. It's got to be a habitable situation. But if you do that, now you can bypass all the other code regulations and all the rough inspections that you would normally have to do. So we're actually going through this process on one of our properties that we bought that had an ADU built back in the 90s. And now with this new bill, we're working on getting that approved, which will add 400 square feet and an additional address to that property. So that'll be nice if we can get that done. So hopefully that works out.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's one way. Another thing that we do is we split up homes. We'll take a large property and figure out ways to make multiple units and multiple rentals out of it to be able to cash flow a lot more than you could just renting the whole property. So if you rent a big property, let's say it rents for $5,000 a month, you might be able to split it up into 2, 3, maybe 4 units and rent those smaller units for more per month. And you might be able to get, a 30, 40% increase on the total revenue by renting it out that way. There's other ways of doing it. People do like pad split, which we haven't done, but that's basically taking a single family home, say it's got 4 bedrooms, and there's websites. There's a website called Pad Split where you can rent by the room and have a common space with everybody. And this is getting really, really popular. Not something we've like ventured into, and I don't know that we will because it's not our business model. But there's people that do really well with these pad splits or these, kind of like roommates, but you're running it as a business rather than living in a house and having roommates. Like you don't live in there, you just rent all these by the room to college students or travel nurses or people that are, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. So that's another way that people are getting creative to get more cash flow out of these properties.
Yeah.
We have an apartment building right now in Texas that we're trying to figure out and repurpose. The rental market has gotten pretty soft in Texas for long-term rents, and so we're trying to repurpose.
Yeah, is that everywhere?
Pretty much everywhere. Yeah,
really?
Austin's gotten bad. Like everywhere, it's just gotten soft. I mean, it's really bad there. It's a smaller town.
Yeah,
but from what I'm hearing, it's kind of like everywhere in Texas. There's a lot of properties available, a lot of rentals, and the rental market has gotten pretty soft. So we're looking for ways to repurpose this. I've been reaching out to local, military bases, hospital. It's right across the street from a hospital, trying to work with their human resources on their housing that they provide, and just seeing if there's maybe a contract situation where the hospital would contract the whole building or some of the units, and we can furnish it for them. Same for the military. Maybe we do our midterm and we just furnish these and rent them out separately. I don't know. We're just trying to figure out how to repurpose this thing and get it to generate more income, because with a commercial building, the more income it generates, the more value you place on it. So the actual value of the property is based on the income, not like an appraisal like a normal house. So we really need to figure out a way to increase the income on this property to be able to increase the value to get to our exit. So
that makes sense.
Working on that, which is not easy right now. It's another one that carrying costs are killing us on that one too, because right now it's not cash flowing. There's a lot of empty vacant units that we're getting turned over, and because of the house off the market it's proving difficult to fill those right now. So just trying to get creative and figure that one out to get that property stabilized and push the appreciation on that one. And then just kind of like what we talked about earlier, just getting creative on these value add items that build equity, but figuring out ways to do it more cost effectively. Whether it's materials or just different creative ideas where you can push that value up of a property or get it to rent for more without having to spend too much to get to that point.
Yeah.
So that's been a pretty big part of our strategy in these properties. We're getting ready to do this again. We're buying, or this property that I bought in 2011 has been a rental property for the last 9 years, and it was a long-term rental. And now we're going to redevelop it. I think we're going to do it in stages, but our first one's going to be try to add 2 ADUs. I think we can add an ADU above the garage, and then hopefully another one in the backyard. And those will be really good rentals. They'll probably be 1-bedroom units, and they'll rent for probably almost as much as the property itself rents for now, but each.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we'll do them as furnished, and because there's such a high demand in our area for 1-bedroom and studio rentals.
More than I ever thought there
Yeah,
would be.
it's crazy. And so the price on these, we see the need, and so we're kind of trying to build more of these units to be able to cater to that demand. And so we'll do that, and then the main house, which is a 4-bedroom, we'll kind of redo that a little bit, but I think we'll do this in stages. But we're going to turn that into a midterm rental because we've had so much demand for 3 and 4 bedrooms in Costa Mesa. We're just sending leads out because we don't have anything that's available. So I think that one will be really hot too. And we'll take a property that's been renting for $5,000 a month, and we'll probably be able to get around, I would say, about $12,000 a month once all these three units are up and running. So that'll be really good.
Yeah, absolutely. What's one of your other favorite things to do? Actually getting your hands dirty on these projects?
It's not really my favorite thing to do. It's just what always ends up making sense. But, and this is not for everybody, but we're not afraid to get our hands dirty and do the work ourselves. Like if a contractor gives me a quote and I just think they're way too expensive, I'll just do it myself. If something costs $60,000, but it's only $6,000 in material, I'll figure out a way to do it myself.
Sure, do it. The master of learning how to do things from YouTube.
Yeah, because a lot of times it's like, okay, you spend $100,000 to do this, and it increases the property $100,000, and like my mind, you didn't really do anything. You didn't build any equity.
Yeah,
because you just paid, you paid that same amount. So,
that's very true.
But if you can get it, if you buy $10,000 material and you do it yourself, yeah, you're trading your time, and so it's sweat equity, but now it's actual equity.
Yeah,
and so a lot of times, we'll get our hands dirty and we'll figure out a way to build equity, build that sweat equity into the properties, which has served us very well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely helped us. And I would just say, like, just the overall theme is just sacrificing our time now to build a better future. We're going through these renovations, and whether it's one that we've lived in while we're renovating it or it's a project off-site that we're doing, I'm over at the house every weekend.
Yeah.
And nights, and it's
hard.
It's definitely hard. It's not easy. Now we have 4 kids, so it's even harder.
Yeah.
You're juggling 4 kids when I'm not available, and so it's definitely not easy. It's not an easy road. But we know that it's going to pay off in the end. And it's going to be an easier road later because, we'll be financially free and these assets are going to be taking care of us and allowing us to live the life we want to live without having to work. So we're trading time now. Yeah. But we're trading time now to gain time later. Yeah.
It's very true.
So it's a commitment that we have decided to make, but I think it's a worthy commitment.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Anything else to add?
No, but I think
it's late.
Falling asleep.
You look like you're falling asleep too.
I'm good. I could keep
your
going.
eyes are getting heavy.
Yeah, but I'm still going. You're not. You're just done.
I'm quiet.
All right. I think that's it for tonight. We'll keep doing these. We got interviews. We'll be probably starting up. I don't know when we start sleeping again. Baby, we're not getting much sleep right now.
To get on he's still so little that his sleep is just so sporadic and not anything we can. Wow, I can't even find the word I'm looking for.
We just need to get on a back into a routine or get the newborn on a routine so that way we can actually plan and schedule. So like right now we put interviews on hold just because things are so all over the place. Even for us to
find the time to
it's so hard for us to find time to do our recording. So
yeah,
we'll probably pick those up hopefully in the next month or so and be able to start working interviews back in. So if you know somebody, you or somebody that would be a good fit for the show, please reach out because we are starting to fill that schedule so we can get those lined up.
And I think too, on that note, it doesn't necessarily have to be something in the home, like area of expertise. Like I think, just we want to talk to people that are making sacrifices, right? That have, maybe it's a business that you have that you've had to make a lot of sacrifices for that, you gave up a lot for, and I don't know, we're open to different types of
it's all about
home.
Making sacrifices today to build a better future. So
and bonus points if you're a couple doing it together because that's a whole other level.
Yeah, definitely. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. Get out there and make it happen.
Thanks for listening. This has been a production of Rebuilding the Dream Studios.